My dad was a big Elvis fan, you know, you know, and everything. And I was watching the movie Jailhouse Rock, and my dad, he was like overwhelmed about Elvis, and I liked how he moved his legs, you know, his charisma and everything. And so one day I got up and started doing that, and went to a festival about 30 minutes away from where I live. And from then to now is how the Elvis thing got started and everything, how I became an Elvis fan. So.
I've been a fan of Elvis's for as long as I can remember. So I'm not a victim. I'm lucky enough to be brought up on my mum's records. So yeah.
I've been a fan for years. My dad played and sang Elvis music, and I just took it right up from him. Well, I got involved with Elvis first, and I grew up with Elvis playing, and you know, ever since I was in a baby's crib, my daddy saw Elvis 4 times, and he got a karaoke machine right around the time, you know, karaoke got really popular, and I actually caught him singing one day, and I walked in. I kind of made fun of him just a little bit. He didn't sound exactly like Elvis, if y'all know what I mean. And well, the rest is history, because he said, well, you know, it's not as easy as it looks. Why don't you get up here and try it? And first song I ever sang was All Shook Up, and literally I was hooked. The bug hit me immediately, and it's been a ride ever since.
I became an Elvis fan when I was 3 years old. I saw a documentary on television called This Is Elvis, and as soon as I saw that, I was instantly hooked. Cleared off our coffee table, started dancing at the age of 3, and just thought he was the greatest thing ever. And my mom thought that was hilarious and cute, and so I got to sing in my sister's talent show, and I've been singing ever since.
I was sitting on the floor one day at my Nana's house because she was a big Elvis fan, and a movie came on, and I turned around, and while I was watching it, I think it was Blue Hawaii if I remember correctly, but I just turned around and told my Nana that I loved that man.
A fan? About 52 years or something like that. Yeah, about 7 years, about 5 years, since I was about 5 years old. Yeah, about 52 years.
You know, I started out with loving his music. I can remember clear back when I was like 4 or 5 years old. My mother, huge Elvis fan, just growing up, hearing his music, listening to his movies, seeing his movies. Just love the guy. I love his music. I'm a bigger fan of Elvis the man, though. I mean, the music's great. You can't take that away from him. But I'm just a fan of Elvis Presley. The way he changed music, he changed our culture, a little bit of everything. You can find an Elvis in it somehow.
Mom and Dad bought me a Elvis record player and a record, EP, extended play. That doesn't stand for Elvis Presley. Extended play back in them days. They bought me a record player in 1957 and the record, and that's when I started collecting. I always liked Elvis. Of course, he'd only been around for me since the Ed Sullivan Show. We didn't even have a TV when he first started Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey or any of that type of shows. So first time I seen him on TV was Ed Sullivan shows. And I knew I liked him right away. And the first song I ever heard was I Was the One, the flip side of Heartbreak Hotel, 1956, which he sold several million of them.
Just the way he delivered a song, the way he controlled, I wouldn't say controlled, but held his audience and even his band members in the palm of his hand to get them to do what he wanted them to do.
Fan of Elvis for probably 30 years now.
Well, my dad brought a VHS tape of Elvis the Lost Performances, and pretty much from then on it was just, you know, right then and there. That's how I became a fan, and I became a fan all on my own because none of my family is really an Elvis fan. It was just kind of a, you know, just a pop-in tape, you know, and that's how I started. So.
Well, we had Perry Como and Patty Page and people like that, and all of a sudden Elvis came on the scene. It was just so completely unique that all the kids, including me, just loved the stuff. It was completely different, and it was kind of our music as opposed to our mothers and fathers. They were more in tune with Perry Como and people like that, ballad singers. So it was just a lot more exciting music that turned all the kids on.
I was an Elvis fan since I was a little kid. My brother was a big Elvis fan, and he kind of got me into it, and then it just kind of went from there.
Long time. I guess probably it started when I was about 12. That was 100 years ago.
2013, I went to Memphis and saw the Elvis ETAs in Graceland, and I said this is what I want to do, and I've done it ever since.
I became an Elvis fan in 1977. My mother already was an Elvis fan from her youth, and when he died, she bought a lot of records, and we went to the theater to see his movies. Actually, the day after he died, I saw Elvis at the Waiters, and I was 9 years old, and from then on I became a fan.
I was always an Elvis fan. I grew up with my mother listening to Elvis songs, and I really got into, the first time I heard the Madison Square Garden concert, I just thought it was awesome. I fell in love with Elvis.
Really probably ever since I can remember music, I would say probably for me, mid to late 60s. Even though I didn't start listening to him, I listened to all the old stuff first. I like that especially much.
I've been a fan since I watched him on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1956.
It's just his presence, his charisma on stage. It took, it didn't take very long for me. I wasn't an Elvis fan my whole life, but it didn't take very long after I started listening to him a lot more and watching DVDs to really just, I can't even explain what it is in one way that attracts you to him, that attracts you to his music. I think it's just the whole package.
Oh my gosh, I guess I'd have to say since I was born, simply because I'm from Memphis and my grandmother is a fanatic Elvis fan, so yeah.
Probably when I was about 6 years old, and my older brother was playing in a rock and roll band, and he was doing a little Elvis and Ricky and all that, and actually I heard my brother sing Elvis songs before I really knew who Elvis was, but then later after that I saw him on television, and of course, the rest is history,
Well, I just remember back in the 70s, I am 55 years young, so when the music that I really enjoyed was sort of upbeat. My mother was a big Elvis fan, so she had all the old albums. When Elvis appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, she would come home and watch it on television. She wasn't ever able to attend, up at New York City or any of the big places, but I would listen to her little 45s, and I just really enjoy the music because it's upbeat. I call Elvis the king of all music, and so I've just always loved it. He's brought me through a lot of tough times. Elvis and I had one thing in common. Elvis had glaucoma. Well, I have retinitis pigmentosa, so we saw the same eye doctor. Of course, I saw him a lot later in life, and so I just think Elvis has brought a lot of happiness to people. I've just been a fan. I love all the songs, from the movie songs to the songs I was able to perform today, the gospel songs, and I want to put a smile on people's face. I think when Elvis performed, he gave it his all, and he wanted to do the very best and entertain the audience. So me being totally blind, I don't do all the moves because I can't watch the videos, but I try to do my best to pay tribute to him. I'm not Elvis. There's only one Elvis, and he's passed away, but I've been a fan my whole entire life. I have albums in my house. I have my house decorated with the Elvis memorabilia, and I listen to Sirius Radio all the time, and I hope during this trip to go to Sirius Radio.
I guess I've always been a fan ever since about, well, I've heard Elvis music throughout my life, and about 2000, 2001, I started getting in, more into Elvis and things like that.
I grew up listening to Elvis, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Nat King Cole when I was a kid, and I like the music, and especially the 50s stuff. That's what we do, the rockabilly stuff, the early stuff. That's my favorite, and that's kind of what got me started on it.